Good morning to you, our audience. Ted and Ed TV channel welcome each of you to our weekly Saturday broadcast where we give insightful views on economic, political, world, and environmental issues concerning how money connects those matters. Our hosts, Mr. Ted Harvey Sr. and Mr. Edward Bishop III, are now taking each of you into our world of money and its value, along with the evils that come from the greed of hoarding financial power. He that controls the gold controls the important decisions in this world.
Once you stop your train of thought for a minute. Turn it on.
It's on. We are live, my brother. We are live on Saturday.
And you was talking about North Korea. We want to welcome everybody, but we're early. We usually come on at 9 o'clock on Saturday, but welcome. And you was talking about North Korea. We got a lot of things to talk about, Ed. So
Oh yeah, man. There's a lot of things going on out there that people are going on here in this world. We have to realize and stuff now as a country that we are involved into a world scene. It is no longer just United States and stuff by himself. And there are a lot of things going on and stuff out there in the world that is happening along with this crazy stuff going on inside of our country here with Trump. I was just telling Ted here, and we're talking about some things that are happening out there that nobody's really talking about in the world and stuff there. And one of the things that we think that Trump and Putin was talking about was Syria. Well, lately and stuff now, the United States military and some of our allies who are still working with our military, even though Trump has created some friction and everything between their political leaders, they are quietly going into Syria and gathering up all of their allies and stuff who were in Syria, who they were supporting and stuff during this war and everything with their dictator. And they get these people all together and they're moving them out of the country. And a lot of these European countries and some of the other countries and stuff are going to take in these people that they are getting and stuff out of their country. And Russia is quietly amassing their military to come into Syria once all these people and stuff are gone. We're finding out and stuff that in Iran, that Trump's people, his political people, are quietly trying to contact the political people and stuff there in Iran and make a deal with them. What this deal is going to be, nobody knows about, but they know that they have the Iranian political people and stuff have already put it out quietly and stuff that the Trump folks and stuff have contacted them. Trump has left this Iranian nuclear deal that Obama had and the other allies had put together, and he left it and said he doesn't want to do anything with it. He's going to bring more sanctions on there. But it looks like Trump is trying to pull a deal and stuff with Iran and behind the allies' back. But we don't know what's going to happen there. We know that Mike Pompeo has went to North Korea and tried to talk with them about their nuclear disarmament. And the North Koreans and stuff threw shade on him, and he left before he had a chance to meet with Kim Jong-un. I really don't believe Kim Jong was going to meet with him anyway and stuff. He let one of his top military people and stuff kind of handle the whole thing. And once Pompeo found out that they wasn't being serious about negotiating and stuff with him and starting some talk and stuff about this denuclearization, he gathered up his folks and his news people, and they left the country. And he came back and he talked to Trump about this whole thing. And now, since Trump, people in this country and stuff and the world know that Trump did a foolish thing by going over there to North Korea and trying to deal with Kim Jong-un, he is kind of, Donald is telling his Pompeo and all the rest of the people and stuff who question him about it, don't worry about it. Leave North Korea alone. They're going to be fine.
Yep. And the thing is that he's saying that Kim Jong-un he said he trusts his word. We got a word. We got a bond together. So he thinking that the guy's going to be doing the right thing as far as this nuclear deal. But all indications showing that he's actually increasing his nuclear capability. So and then our security people, are not. They're trying to get out there and tell the truth or say things, they can only say so much. And just like the guy that's head of security now, he went out and said some few things and and right on the air with what's the name? Mitchell
Andrea
on MSNBC, Andrea Mitchell, and turned around and she broke up their conversation and said, I got breaking news. The president has just set up another summit at the White House, and he didn't know anything about it. So normally those types of things are discussed, they'll work out.
Well, he actually asked John Bolton to go ahead and set that meeting up and everything and stuff with Putin and stuff to come to Washington, D.C. And the ironic part about this whole daggone thing, Ted, is that he's setting this thing up to happen in the fall. Well, because of this fiasco that he had in Helsinki and him bringing Putin back over here in the fall, and we know that this fall we have some very important things going on here in this country.
2018.
And that's the 2018 election, midterm election is happening in November. And he's turning around and bringing this guy here to the U.S. Man, quietly behind the scenes, there's a lot of Republicans and stuff right now who are pissed, absolutely pissed about the fact that he is doing this stuff and everything from what happened in Helsinki. And now he's bringing him back over here in the fall. And I think Trump hasn't sit down and really thought about what the heck he is doing and the ramifications of his announcing that he's going to bring Putin back over here in the fall around the midterm election. So I don't know how the Republicans are going to deal with that. I guess they're going to find some kind of way to cover it over and make it seem like it's okay. But he's almost guaranteed the Democrats are going to probably take over the House, and they may get to Senate and stuff now.
Hey, look at here. Could this be a coup? Could this be a coup that Donald Trump wants the Democrats to take the House and the Senate so that he can start a war or he can start something that's going on? Because we know that a lot of these Democrats ain't got a spine. And just like the Republicans, it's not the Republican Party now, it's the Donald Trump Party. Because if you looked at the polls, 68% of the Republicans thought what he did at Helsinki was okay. 83% of the people of the Republicans thinking that, hey, he's doing a good job. So could this be a coup for, just to destroy the Republican Party and then have the Democrats take over? And then, the Democrats don't have no real leader, that's really out there that's going to be boastful and articulate enough to figure out and gather the people together. Because really, when you look at it, the Democrats, they call it the tent. It's like, what, how many? 15, 20 different fascists of Democrats that's in the party, So, you got your conservative Democrats, you got your progressive, and you got your far left. You got the Black Democrats, African Americans. You got all of these different fascists. You got the gays, homosexuals, and all of that. What they call it, the LGBT community. Mm-hmm. You got all of these different people that's under this tent. that have their own agendas. And that's why we can't really come to a consensus. In my mind, and when I say we, I'm talking about the American people, because majority of the people in this country are actually Democrats. But the point is that a lot of them left the Democratic Party and became independent. So in my mind, I'm thinking that because the Democratic Party is so fractured, and they playing the money game because they can't get as much money as the Republicans. The Republicans got all the money, man. We already know that. You got all these oligarchies, billionaires feeding them money all the time with the Republicans, and that's what the Republicans like, all these politicians. So that's the reason why they everybody's little yo-yo. But the Democrats, they just, they ask for $5, $10, $15, $20, $100, whatever. They're not getting big money. So I think it's a coup, bro. That's I'm a conspiracy theory, and I think this right here is a coup.
Well, there are signs and stuff out there, Ted, that tells us that you may have something, but I don't think you do. You have to.
I'm out there.
Look at the man and stuff at the helm, at the head. Why would you go out and think that what you did at Helsinki was okay? Yes, you're right. There are people in the Republican Party who will follow Donald to the gates of hell.
Yes, they will.
They're going to follow him to the gates of hell, and we know that they're going to do that. He has a following. He has a cult following out there.
Oh yeah,
will follow him to the gates of hell. But if you can peel off enough of those Republicans and stuff and everything to create a coalition and stuff of people and stuff and everything that says, hey, this man is creating too much problems here. We got to do something about it. And that's what's going on. Some of the Republicans and stuff now, they are kind of, sitting there on that fence and everything. So if you can keep them sitting on that fence, then you're going to be able to take control and stuff of at least one of those houses of Congress. Now, Trump can do some executive orders and stuff like President Obama did during his last 2 years and stuff in office. He did a lot of the executive orders and stuff and everything to do governing and stuff, because he couldn't get the Congress to do anything because the Republicans control the Congress and he couldn't get anything passed through there. Well, Trump had the ability also to do it, but he's not a very smart man. He's in the throes of dementia. He's getting close to Alzheimer's.
Well, you wrote an article.
Yes, I did.
Article. Oh my goodness, man, that article, unbelievable. Anybody get a chance to read that article, go on Facebook or go to the website. And my goodness, Ed, that article, I mean, that is a crazy article. The kind of conversation he has with the people that's around him is just nonsensical.
Well, one of the things so I'm going to get off of that for a second here, because I got a lot to say about what you just said about what's going on in 2018 there. And you're right about the fact that there are a lot of factions and stuff in the Democratic Party. I mean, a whole lot of them that are together. But if you look back at the Republicans and stuff, when they had their Speaker of the House, the first Speaker of the House that they had and stuff, he could not control his Republican majority and stuff out there. Those folks out there who had ran in 2010 and all that, they came on and they just gave their Speaker hell, and he just couldn't get anything and stuff done. But one thing that the Democrats have that the Republicans didn't have, and she's a very strong peace giver. She knows how to herd cats, and that's Nancy Pelosi. when the Democrats take over the House and stuff and everything, she's going to become a powerful entity and stuff there. But let's get back to that article that we're talking about, Ted, that I'm saying about our president that we have and stuff and what he thinks. And you're right there. I did this article and stuff about it because I was thinking about what was going on in this man's mind when he did what he did there in Helsinki, and then to have him to get on the plane that the people of the United States bought and paid for, and to come back to this country and get into our White House that this country paid for after he done throw shade on this whole country. Something had to be going on. And I found this article in the USA Today. And there was a piece here and stuff about what had happened on the plane on the way back from Helsinki, coming back to Washington, D.C., and what Donald had to say. He got on the plane, and the first thing he said was, "I was great, wasn't I? I killed it." And his chief of staff looked him in the face and he said, "Well, in a matter of speaking, sir, you killed it." He thought that what he did was the greatest thing in the world by throwing this country into, man, it's just an embarrassing thing. But anyway, there was some banter and stuff going on that he got together with some of his people and stuff, his top people, and they all sat down there on the plane to talk about what the heck had happened and stuff there in Helsinki and what he had did and what was going on. And I'm going to read you some of the things that had happened and stuff there on the plane. First, John Kelly, who was the chief of staff, said, "Mr. President, your remarks with Putin are causing quite a stir at home." And that's when President Trump said, "Yeah, I was great, wasn't I? I killed it." And Kelly says, "Well, in a manner of speaking, sir, people are very upset that you still don't seem to believe all the evidence that Russia hacked the election." And Trump said, "Oh, big deal. That's just Mueller saying that. He's a Democrat." And then John Kelly says to the president, "Is that Special Counsel Robert Mueller is actually a Republican, sir. But that's beside the point. It's not just him. The House Republican investigation and the Senate, the whole U.S. intelligence community, they are all concluded that," and then Trump busts in, "the intelligence community, tell me another one." Kelly says, "With all due respect, sir, many of your own advisors concluded the same thing, including your Secretary of State." And sitting there at the table was Mike Pompeo, his Secretary of State. And Mike didn't say a word. He just smiled and put his head down meekly in front of the president because he knew he had said it. And then they have a speaker phone sitting there, and there were other people and stuff in this country who were listening to the conversation also. And one of the people who was there on their phone and stuff was John Bolton. And he said, "Me too, sir. I believe this." Oh, man. And then he says, "Who let Dan Coats on the call?" He says, "He is your Director of National Intelligence, sir." Well, all three of them are fired.
Reality show, boy.
He's a reality. Y'all fired, but don't believe me. Oh man, you have to read the rest of it, people. If you get a chance, go on to Facebook or to Ted, the Money Connection Facebook page, and article and stuff is sitting there. And, and the topic of the article is above Air Force One after the Trump-Putin havoc in Helsinki. Take a read. It's very interesting.
Unbelievable, man. I'm telling you, it's a clown show. It's a circus. It's you know, you have to really laugh about it because I know that the people that's around him, you know, you got some wackos that still, you know, John Bolton is sort of like a, you know, real gun-ho for war. You know, he wants to blow up Iran. He wants to, he doesn't really want to get along with Russia. He thinks they're the enemy, and China and everybody else, you know, but you got some people there that are pretty reasonable and knowledgeable, you know, despite John Kelly's problems, you know, his issues with Black women and on and so forth. But he does have a level head, and he's commanded thousands of people and to war and all of that stuff. And he's got experience on a lot of issues. So, and Pompeo, you know, now, you know, he's sort of kind of, I don't know. I think he's just ambitious. You know, I think that's all that was, because see, when he came against Benghazi, I think he kind of overblowed himself. You know, he sort of, you know, he knew that was a setup, and they went through all of that crap in Benghazi, and was nothing found. And one of the congressmen has already said that they did that to destroy Hillary before she even ran. You know, they did that to destroy her, you know, to bring her down. And that was one of their tactics, that propaganda crap, you know, Benghazi, the emails, all that stuff, you know. And if anybody heard about those emails, they said, even the FBI, they said there were a couple of that was redone that said security, that somebody else had sent through her to her emails. So, you know, I wouldn't say that, you know, Mrs. Clinton was clean, but my goodness, man, come on. Emails compared to this? Are you going to try to compare emails to Russia? And then Senator Graham said, oh, he'll get over this. He'll get over this. And you heard what John McCain said. He cut him to shreds. And that's supposed to be his boy? Graham is supposed to be his boy, and then Graham gonna talk about he'll get over this, he'll get past this, because he corrected his mistake. Excuse me, I heard the whole conversation he said on that podium. You can't just change a word, bro. I mean, you know, I might not be as smart as a lot of people, but I can understand a little simple stuff. You know, I understand some stuff. And right now, we're getting hoodwinked, bro. We're getting hoodwinked and bamboozled and everything else, the American people. And they spend $70 billion extra dollars that could have went to the American people on armed forces. And here we spend 10 times as much as damn near the next person in line. That money's supposed to go to the American people.
Well, Ted, you know, we've been fighting that thing for years and years.
I know it. I mean, you just got to say it, though.
You know, even during Obama's administration and everything, there was that fight going on and stuff with the military and trying.
He spent too much, even though he was trying to cut it.
Trying to increase that budget and everything, but I guess they were deal makings going on, because to get some domestic programs and stuff done, they had to deal for the military budget. So it was a mess there. But anyway, we have to realize and stuff, Ted, that there's that there's a lot of different entities and stuff going on and stuff out there, and they all are out there separate, but they all combine and stuff in one way or another.
It's all greed, Ed.
Yeah, it's greed. And then when you start speaking of the senators and stuff who are still, kind of so what, saying, well, okay, they have a dog in that fight there, man. They trying to protect their Republican president. They're trying to protect their executive branch of the government. And they're going to try to do everything they can to protect the executive branch of the government, to keep in there or keep some kind of semblance of control and stuff out there. And hopefully that they may be able to call this man up and tell him what they need, and he'll give it to them, because as you know, the last person that talks to Trump is usually the person who gets what he wants. because the rest of them, he might say yeah, he might say yeah to all of them. And then the last person who talks to him before he lays down to go to sleep, they didn't want to get what they want, everything, because he changes his mind like that, Dianne Feinstein realized that. They sitting at the table with him, and he tell her and stuff, hey, that's a good idea, let's do that. And then the Republicans sitting there, so we better say something.
Right.
They start saying something. Then he said, oh, yeah, you were right, which was totally against what Dianne Feinstein has said. So he's I told you, man, he's sick. He needs to put him in a nursing home.
let me say this though, seriously. When you was talking about the let's say the two fascists, the Democrats and the Republicans, there is a small window, and they know this. You got almost 100 or more million, 120 million first and second generation Americans in this country that's only been here for 70 years or more, and those people are not really, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, and it's a lot of them that are, but they have not went through a lot of things that the American people's families that's been here for hundreds of years, generations. And when you look at this small window, and regardless, we can tell that people vote their party, because that vote for Hillary and Trump should not have been nowhere near that close. Nowhere near. So they already know that they're going to get 50 million votes already for Trump, no matter what he does. No matter what he does, he's going to get 50 million. And it takes over a little more than 60 million to win. And the Democrats, is so many people that have left the Democrats and become independent, but they still somehow they get 60 million. So that window is so small, bro, as far as getting people in office and what have you. And then we know that the Republicans go out and they vote. They vote on midterms. They vote all the time. The Republicans are going to get out there and vote. Democrats do not vote. Because number one, only 30% of the people in this country only voted for the presidency that's eligible to vote. If Democrats went out there and voted, man, they would have ran away from it, ran off from it. So the point is, they playing all these little political games and shenanigans and all of this, and keeping people all off guard and all this and all that. But that small window, man, that's the thing. That's how they get these people to get out and vote. People are trying to encourage people to get out and vote. But what does people say? Oh, ain't gonna do no good if I go out and vote. The most important thing that an American can do is vote. And
Yeah.
vote for your own interests.
You know, Ted, in 2007 and 8, I made a commitment, personal commitment, to help to get my president elected, President Obama, who was then Senator Obama, elected to be the first Black president of the United States. He started out way behind the 8 ball. The first thing he started out with, he was Black.
Yep.
It put him way behind the 8 ball. The next thing, he was running against one of the most popular presidents that we know of, that people call the first Black president, who was white, and that was Bill Clinton and his wife. They were both.
Yes.
He was fighting against both of them. He was also fighting against a huge establishment Democratic Party.
Yes.
He was fighting against a norm and stuff that was built into the Democratic Party for a long time. But Obama had some assets and stuff that he exploited to beat up upon Hillary and the Democratic Party to get himself to that final vote where he was at the convention and they had to nominate him because he won a nomination. But he fought for a year and almost a half and everything to do that. But he had a plan. In war, you have to have a plan. Right now, we have to have a plan.
What plan we got in?
We have to have a plan to win. I didn't say we had one. I said,
okay. All right.
I said
that's all I'm saying.
I said that's all I'm saying. You have to have a plan to win. Now, and I remember, Ted, that Obama and stuff, his group that he started, his core group that he started, each one of those people in that core group had a job. Yep. And Obama, just like he did when he became president, he empowered each one of those people within his core group and stuff to go out and to do their job.
Yep.
Work with each one of them and stuff and everything to do that. He had these young folks and stuff and everything who were going to take charge of his media stuff and everything. He gave them the power to do that. He built a web presence and stuff and everything that was beyond belief.
Yes.
He built a program and stuff inside there to where everybody around the country and stuff were tied in together and stuff through their site, to where they knew what everybody in each one of those different districts and each one of those areas and stuff knew what those people and stuff were doing. And they were all tied in there together.
Yep.
He took what now, as some Democrats and stuff are doing, and that's taking an email list and stuff and asking for money to give to the organizations. And that's why you are still getting emails and stuff from different groups out there who asking you for money all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not a coordinated effort like he had, and it wasn't. I did it. I donated to it. My wife donated and stuff to it.
Mm-hmm.
I volunteered my time and everything because I was committed to getting this man elected. And I remember those early primary states that he was talking about. One was Iowa, another was New Hampshire, another was Nevada, and another one was South Carolina.
Yep.
Out of those 4 early primary states, he knew that he had to win Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one come up was Nevada, New Hampshire, South Carolina. South Carolina came in last. Obama won 3 out of the 4 early primary states. Hillary only won New Hampshire. But he started out way behind the 8 ball, but he came up. He was committed to doing that. So I say that and because one of the things and stuff that he had that Hillary didn't have was he to energize people to come out and to give whatever they could give and everything to him. Hillary didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't energize people to come out and vote for her. Obama had a way of explaining to the populace and stuff and everything a reason to come out and vote for him. If people understand what they have and how he is connected and stuff with them, they came out and voted for him. So you find that a lot of these politicians and stuff and everything in the South and the North or whatever, they don't have that commitment and stuff and everything within their local populist groups and everything to have to energize people to come out and vote for them. You have to get out and tell people you want to run for office, what you are about.
Yep.
You have to know your constituents and stuff that who are going to vote for you, and you're going to have to go out and get. You don't need 100% of the other folks. You need just a certain percentage of them to give their vote to you.
Yep.
Because if you can do that, if you can divide at least 10 or 20% of those people and stuff that you know who are voters and stuff who voted for your other candidate, if you can bring them over to your side along with yours, add them all together, you're going to get over 50% of the vote.
Yeah. And that's and like you said, you have to get people energized because obviously we're not doing a great job in the school system as far as doing our civic duty, because they would stress the importance of voting in the school systems, because it is very important to get registered and vote and get involved in your government, because your government is going to spend your money and you want to know where they're spending their money. Tampa here got $1 billion budget. And let me tell you, that money he didn't set aside for certain projects. Are those projects going to go in your community? What is your mayor, how is he going to spend that money? Or is he going to spend it in the suburbs, or is he going to spend it somewhere else? Or is he going to do anything in your community? Any city mayor is control of that budget, and they're gonna be doling out all kinds of money to beautify their area of their choice. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to look at it and say, how much did this community give me? How many, this guy over here gave me, and he lives in such and such. I think I'm going to build something over here. Maybe a nice community center, or maybe a nice golf course, make room for a golf course or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Build some nice roads over in that area. See, that's the problem.
and that's the fight here that a politician and stuff has to have. That's the meat of his outreach and everything to people in those communities. That if you can tell me, I don't need to vote, it doesn't do me any good, and the first thing I'm gonna say is, where you living at?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it government? Is your local government, is your mayor, or is your representative and stuff putting money to clean up your streets? Come down here and clean your streets up. Do they
making sure your schools are inadequate?
Do they pick your garbage up? Are your children and going to school and stuff and everything where the graffiti is sitting there on the walls? Are you sitting in their classroom and stuff where your kids sitting in the classroom with 30 or 40 kids and stuff in there with one teacher?
And it's cold as all get up, or it might be too hot.
They're sharing books.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go to that other community and stuff, go out and everything. They kids got 2 books.
Yeah.
Yours are sharing. You don't even have a book. They share a book.
And then it might not even be up to date.
When the class is over, they have to put the book in the desk so that when the other class comes in, they can pull that same book out and read it.
That's right.
And you tell me that your vote doesn't count. You have to talk to people and convince them to show them that their vote matters. And that's what I was trying to tell you when I went out there and started talking about my president. I had to make it seem personal to them that when Obama comes in there into office, he's going to do a lot more for you than the other presidents and stuff have done and stuff for you. And also, along with Obama, you got your local folks and everything that you have to go out and work for and everything to get elected.
Yeah.
And that's something that when Obama ran and stuff, that's what he did. He tied himself in with local people and said, okay, we're going to all work together and stuff and everything to get something accomplished and stuff here. But once he left office, and even in the midterm, he could not get those folks and stuff in that midterm to get out there. They thought that all they had to do was tell Obama to go out and do some rallying or whatever and get people to come out and vote for it. They didn't have a dog in the fight. Yeah, you got to have a fight.
You ain't never lied on that one, because man, I was so frustrated in those midterms. I said, what are these Democrats doing? He out there scraping and fighting for all of these Democrats, and they just sitting back, President Obama gonna bring all the votes in. All I gotta do is just lay back, and just say a few words, and that's it. Instead of getting up.
He's got an army, so we're gonna use his army and stuff so we can get voted. But you're gonna have to get out there yourself and everything and give yourself some identity. He has his own identity. Go get your own identity, but he couldn't get that across and everything to them. And it really showed his face and stuff, Ted, in 2009 and 10 when Obama tried to get the Affordable Care Act passed. And during that summer, he had all those Republicans were coming out trying to knock this thing down.
And some Democrats.
These congressmen and stuff were afraid to stand before their constituents and say, I am for this. Because this thing is going to help you. So they did not articulate to their people.
That was frustrating, man.
Advantage and stuff for what he was talking about, because some of those things, those talking points that those Republicans had given to those people and stuff and everything to go out there and talk against it.
But their favorite thing, his big lie, you know what they call his big lie? You can keep your doctor if you want to keep your doctor. That's his big lie the whole 8 years he was there. And you could have kept your doctor if you want to keep your doctor. You don't have to get the insurance. You can keep on having get some other kind of insurance.
And another thing that these Tea Party folks were talking about was the fact that this was a government funded healthcare thing. And I remember Obama stood in front of one crowd in one area and stuff there, and one of his constituents got up and said, yeah, this is a government program. And it was an old guy. And he looked at him and said, what's Medicare? What's Medicaid?
Right.
It's a government insurance that takes care of you.
Right. And you paid into it if you worked long enough,
Absolutely. It's yours. We're going to make sure that you're taken care of. This is like, it's not the same thing. There's something to help you. You are paying for this out of your pocket, but you are allowed to have insurance to take care of yourself. So, but his folks and stuff down the line, was not articulating that. They were afraid to stand before their people. Oh, I'm not going to have one because I got all these Tea Party people coming here and they're disrupting my meeting and they're doing all this. Stand up, man. And if you are a politician, you better stand up
and tell them to get out.
And tell them what's right. Allow them to speak. And tell them what the heck's going on. You have to come in there. And the ones who did do that and everything stood up and everything to them, their meetings and stuff finally quieted down because they couldn't keep on creating havoc and stuff there. Because every time they said something, you had something to come back at them and tell them, say, hey, you're wrong. Yes, you might be right. Why don't we sit down and work on this so we can improve what you do and to include what you have to say into this whole fight here. Yes, everything I'm saying might not be right, but you might have some good stuff here. So why can't we work together to get this thing done right?
Absolutely. I'm
Wasn't
telling
said.
you.
It wasn't said.
So you know what we're saying is basically, and to put it in a nutshell, is that you're going to always have opposition.
Absolutely.
For things that's right for you.
Absolutely.
Because you need to vote your own interests.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be people that's going to come against you because they're being paid, really.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of them are being paid to come against you because, you know, and when I say get paid, you have some people that's just being paid actually to come against you in those types of meetings. But I'm talking about people getting paid to come against you that is in office.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So what's happening is that when you have all of those oppositions, that's why it's even more so for you to get out there and vote and have your friends vote that you talk to and explain different things and be engaged. And whatever the thing is that you need, you can protest, you can march, all of that, but it's not going to do any good. It'll make some awareness. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, it'll bring awareness of people saying, "Oh, what they out there marching for? What they doing this and that." But no, what's going to make the change is you voting and putting the right people in office, the people that care about you and your community. That's going to put that money into your community. And that's going to give jobs to you. They're not going to give jobs to the people that's living outside of your community. When you want a job, as for example, at a university, you know, you want your kids to work at the university or you want them to work at certain places, and those jobs will be open for you. They won't be holding them back.
Stay there, attend them meetings, find out what the heck they're doing. Keep talking to your people in your community about what's going on and stuff out there, because the only way you're going to change something is that you have to stay proactive. When the TV cameras go off,
this is a fight, bro.
When the TV cameras go off, you have to keep going.
That's right. And see, it's right here is a warfare.
Everything good that happens is not always broadcast.
That's right. And the thing about it is, this is a constant warfare. This is constant battle. You get, because there's going to always be forces that's going to try to stop your progress and stop the monies to trickle into your community. Because see, you're paying property taxes, you're paying sales tax, you're paying all this, and even if you live in an apartment, it don't matter. You're still paying taxes. Mm-hmm. You know, and some kind of fees for this or fees for that. So that's your money.
And it's going to be frustrating, Ted. There's going to be times when you're going to be looking up and that stuff is going to be frustrating as all get out. Man, I'm not getting nothing done. But you have to stay at it. You have to keep getting up. Just like you go to work every day, you got to keep going at this every day.
Yeah.
And because there is something positive that's going to come out of it if you sustain your fight.
Yeah, and it's a lot of people that's getting victories now, because a lot of people out there that realize you got to be engaged, and a lot of people are getting victories. They're making those calls. They're writing those letters. They're going to their congressperson or their senator, or they're doing a lot of things for the local governments. That a lot of things are changing, but it's not fast enough, because now we know that everything is against us. I mean, when they're trying to stop all the funds to go to the right places. You know, they're spending money like crazy on other stuff. You know, bells and whistles. Over budgeting for the military, over budgeting for this and that, and stopping all kinds of things that's right for the community.
Well,
it's frustrating. But you can keep going.
It's frustrating also, but I want to inject one little thing and stuff in here, Ted, that you like what I talked about when we had the Tea Party to come in and they were all frustrated, and I said that even the Tea Party might have something good to say about what's going on. Now, I know you've been busting this military big budgets and stuff into
$70 billion.
I know you've been busting.
I love the military, man. I respect the military, the foot soldiers and all that. But man, I'm telling you, man, I mean, these heads of these people, man, they just blowing money like crazy, like it's going out of style.
But the point that I was trying to make here, that there are some good things and stuff that come out of that military budget. You know, when they building these planes and stuff, you were creating jobs and stuff for people and stuff out there in this country. When they're having these military bases and stuff and everything here in the United States or whatever, people's a lot of these towns, man, depend upon that military base to be there, so they can be able to pay and take care of their
Don't let me go there. Don't let me go there. Don't let me go there.
Don't
let me go there, bro. You know, you didn't just hit a nerve right there.
There's a positive to it. There's some bad stuff out there.
The reason why we have turned into guns instead of butter. They didn't shipped all the manufacturing jobs overseas, changed everything to automation. Automation is taking over the world, you know, and now, and so they're gonna spend money on military when they should be spending money on creating jobs and training people and what have you, and building new businesses. We don't need all that military, bro. I'm sorry. For what? Russia is broke. Russia is broke. China don't want no parts of us.
Think about what I just said, Ted. I wasn't talking about that other part. Yeah, you know, there's some bad stuff out there, but there are also some good things and stuff in there. So you have to acknowledge, you know, the good stuff along with the bad. You know,
there's so many people ripping off the government, man, charging, you know, $100 for one screw. Come on.
Absolutely. I have totally agree with that. But I also say that there are some good things going on out there also.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love the military, man. I mean, the soldiers and what have you, man, because, you know, I wanted to be a Marine myself, but they turned me down.
You did? That was crazy. I never wanted to be in the military.
Hey, I was down and out, bro. I always wanted to be a Marine, you know, because of the fact that, you know, I used to watch all these Army movies, you know, and they was all brave and they trained, you know, and all that, protect the country and stuff, you know. And so back in my mind, you know, I always wanted to be a drill sergeant.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to be a trainer. I didn't want to go out there and kill nobody.
Okay. Oh man, it's getting on to our show here going on, Harvey. So you got anything you want to say, man, before we get off this area?
Well, the only thing I want to say
last few words of wisdom.
Well, the thing is that we just have to pray for our country, man, you know, and pray for our president that God works through him in the right way, and those people that's around him. You know, I mean, you know, I mentioned the word hate. A lot of people hate 45. But, you know, we can't be hating on people. We can't be, even though we disagree with their policies and the way things are going on. But I just really believe, man, that prayer really works. It really does, you know, and somehow we'll get through this. I know that because God is still on the throne, bro, and he's in control. So he can think that he's in control and whatever, and whoever's leading him think they're in control. If he's a puppet of Putin's, you know, Putin's going to be handled too. So, but we got a lot of good people that's working in the government, that's working outside the government, that has a lot of American people interests at heart. So I'm trusting that. That's what I'm trusting.
Yep.
Regardless how crazy it's getting.
Yeah. Because that's a lot of time, Ted. That's the only thing that you can hold on to is your faith and stuff in the Lord. That things are going to happen. He's out there. He's still there, no matter what we're talking about. And he has his devils out there in his church and everything and stuff. Also,
you said the word there.
But there's also some good ones out there and everything, along with those bad ones who are. It seems like we always highlighting the bad ones and stuff and never looking at the good ones. So,
well, they're gonna have to come on out the woodworks.
Well, they're coming out. We just don't hear about them because it's not newsworthy. They're not newsworthy, and most people and stuff who come to their church and listen to what they have to say and listen to their sermons and stuff on Sunday, they go back home and they're okay. And they continue to go on and fight and do what they have to do because they have to work. But you're right. We need to pray for him, and hopefully that one day that we'll be able to get that nursing home president to think okay.
Woo, boy, I don't know, man. Well, I don't know.
So anyway, we'll see you all on Wednesday evening at about 7 o'clock Wednesday evening. So enjoy, people.
Hey baby, what you trying to do? Spent the night just trying to find you. You the hottest one under the sun, and I'm under your spell. We stuck just like glue. You ain't got the free crib, oh well. You and me can head to the hotel. Whatever we do, just don't tell. I don't need anybody all on my coattail. I feel your energy and I ain't trying to fight it. Your vibe is way too exciting. I know I'm who you wanna ride with. Don't fake it, I know that you like it.
It's more than just emotions. I get more emotions. All you gotta do is focus, not what you used to, but you like it. But you like it. Ooh, yeah. I've been out here looking for you. Just something special, man.
Get up on my roller coaster. Get inside my